protecting our national lands, our community commons, the people's property, the lands that we all go hunting, fishing, and parking on. So, my entire intended career developed out of the desire to not be in a city. Um, let's see here. Let's put on the proper hat. No, that's not the right one. I went to a private school with the richest, most powerful people in the world's children, and I learned that the amount of money you got doesn't make you a better human being. And growing up in Los Angeles, the best times I had was out in the forest, in the Angeles National Forest. And I spent many weekends just getting on my bike and riding up into the Angeles National Forest. And I would park my bike and go take off literally with a wool blanket, a knife, and a lighter, and go out and recreate, become one with nature, commune. Just, you know, say a stone's throw from the big city, but pretty much. And, bears, mountain lions, deer, fish. I taught myself how to fish without a pole, right? And which berries I could eat. I learned how to actually eat the poison oak even. Um, and I've got a deep respect for nature that way, right? I was blessed to be able to grow up at the beach. Now, mind you, my family sacrificed so I could go to that expensive school. We weren't those rich people, but we definitely lived upper middle class, and that entire realm of existence doesn't really exist anymore. This is the early '80s. I'm talking mid '80s. Um, so having been around a bunch of the children of rich fucks who exploited their workers and passed on that mentality to the people who I interacted with, I decided that I didn't want nothing to do with the aspects of industry that these people were involved in, and I just wanted to go literally live in the forest and enjoy nature. And as I was graduating from this preparatory school, and they're asking me what college you're going to go to, I'm like, college? I'm not going to college. What would I go to college for? I just want to go. I'm going to go live in the forest and be in the trees and live in a cave. Basically, I just want to hear the wind blowing through the pine trees. It's the most peaceful, relaxing sound. I found aspen trees later, but um, it's they're like, well, what are you gonna do to feed yourself? And like, you can't just hunt and fish all year round. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll be the ranger. And they said, well, the ranger is a master's degree or higher to get that job. I'm like, damn, I guess I'm going to college. So, literally one of the conversations I had that led me off to go to the university and study up sciences. And yes, it was forestry, fire management, watershed chaparral, and fire management, our natural resources that I dedicated my life towards the protection, management, and understanding of, right? And it boggles my mind when we have an unelected bureaucrat running our nation who the myth is that he's a rocket scientist, but he can't comprehend water pressure in a fire hose, which is the exact same mathematical equation as rocket science. It literally volume, pressure, nozzle diameter, right? The diameter of the flow. There's friction involved, and then how do you create your pressure gradient with a rocket? You have an accelerant. With water, you either have gravity or pumps, right? But it's literally the exact same equation once it gets to coming out the fucking nozzle. There's no difference in these things at all. So it's kind of like quite telling when supposedly the rocket scientist rocket blows up the day after he shows the world in a live television interview that he can't comprehend water pressure, right? Um, we've got, oh yeah, here, hello. Someday we could meet and make hamburger helper together. No, Mr. Pickles, I don't eat hamburger helper and wouldn't cook processed food like that. So sad. Standard American diet is toxic food, and you want to poison yourself, that's fine, but it has absolutely nothing to do. Um, yeah, it's called a troll. They have no better life. Perhaps the person actually is wheelchair bound or whatever, but you know, that some people only have their existence of getting online and being a troll of some sort and trying to make themselves feel important. Elon Musk, on the other hand, is the world's biggest fucking troll loser. Did y'all see how high he was with this golden chainsaw? Like how? So golden chainsaw refusing, richest man in the world refusing to acknowledge his own child having a medical emergency because he's too fucking high. Anyhow, I like doing drugs, but I don't claim to run the fucking world or try to usurp everybody. I'm not a con man, right? I like getting high. But anyhow, so back to the national forests, national parks. I literally, the only real job I was ever offered in life, besides I love firefighting, I continued that, was working on military bases with a contractor, identifying all of the natural resources and not necessarily being the field worker going out and doing the surveys, which I've done all sorts of field surveys for natural resources. But the fact that I have a very good ability to contain all this information in the entire web of life systems, which are far more complex. Computer programming is pretty fucking straightforward. It's a bunch of X and O's, ones and zeros, right? You can't like it's pretty obvious, but the interactions in nature are highly complex, right? And the system dynamics of populations and climate, disease, food availability, temperature regimes, rainfall, soil structure, chemistry, right? All that stuff, okay? Not rocket science, far greater levels of genius required to comprehend the entire structure of the web of life, right? And in college, I had a roommate who was a math genius, who I think he was 17 or 18, graduated Cal Poly as a computer scientist, right? And actually, it was his sister was my roommate, but he could not whatsoever comprehend the basic understanding of life force and biology, and I had to tutor him to understand, to get past and graduate, to get through his basic like biology class requirements, right? Okay, so I've discussed in some other shows and talks how there are 9 different types of intelligences, right? Um, and whereas some people are really good at conning others and making them believe they're smart in all other realms, right? And they're really good at gathering money and exploiting other people to take their money in bogus business deals. It doesn't make them smart or good people. It just makes them good at exploiting other people and taking all the money, right? What's going on in Hout, Maine? I'll Hout. Isaiah's asking if I believe in aliens. I don't believe in aliens. I've experienced them in real life. So it's not a belief, it's an understanding and experiential thing, right? There's a big difference between um yeah, no, so he's not building teams even. He's like let's look at what Musk has done. He's never actually built or designed anything himself. Yeah, he's good at building teams, but it wasn't even building teams. It was conning people to come in. I've experienced this like nonstop with various people who claim to be CEOs, for instance, in the cannabis space, right? Whereas I have deep knowledge and understanding of cannabis. I had a bunch of people coming to me and saying, "Hey, I've got $20 million worth of investors," and at the same time, and they were lying to me. They didn't. They were talking to investors and telling the investors that they have master cannabis breeder grower that's got 35 years of experience in a science degree in agriculture, right? Um, and so at the same time, they're lying, they're conning everybody, trying to pull together this thing where then they pull $1 million out of it for themselves and then take all the profits at the end and don't pay the workers. Okay. And that's basically what the fuck. So like the majority of the drug addict who's tearing apart our country with a chainsaw right now's wealth is derived from first off, he was born fucking wealthy, left South Africa to avoid military service, went back to Canada where his Nazi grandparents were from, and then illegally immigrated into the United States and began to defraud the United States by applying for various grants and shit with his brother, illegally applying and saying that they were in the States illegally. And so he's just been running with it since. He found success in the fraud. But like, he didn't build or design PayPal. And he bought into it. His standard mode of operation is suing to say that he designed it in court or that he was a co-founder, right? Just semantical terminology. But none of the shit worked when they sold it. PayPal did not work when they sold it, okay? But he took that money and went and bought into Tesla, right? And then did the same fucking shit and sued them and said that like, oh, I'm the founder, right? And so here we are. This guy now has all these things that other people were already doing and or would do without his presence on the face of the earth. He has usurped through courts and the power that he came with from the wealth of his father's access. He didn't own the emerald mines. He had the contracts for everything that was extracted first bid and purchase, right? And literally would his dad talks about the boys would take his emeralds and sell them. He would show up in New York to sell them to the jewelers, and the boys would steal some to go sell themselves, right? So my expertise, like, okay, let's step back a little bit here. I was actually programming before Elon ever programmed anything in the early '80s, and I was programming in COBOL and Fortran in the early '90s. And the programs I worked on are now your multi-layer mapping that we call Google Earth. All right. My shit was successful. I didn't claim to be the owner of it. I literally was doing it as a student when he was working, lying, saying he was a student on a student visa. I was actually in college working on computer programs at the university, right? And the summertime, I was providing civil service for the betterment of our nation. Risking my life, literally, out wildland firefighting, hell repeller, search and rescue, law enforcement, and our national parks and forests, right? Yeah, T, I don't know about 100,000 subsidy per unit. 7,000 per unit, sure. That's there, but like right now, how did he just so we have, look at this, $19 billion in military industrial complex contracts that Elon has the CEO title over. And he has been cutting natural resource management jobs. Career dedicated civil servants who've dedicated their entire lives to providing interpretive and or protective services for citizens in our national parks and services, or in national parks, national forests, and grasslands. Okay, they literally cut out wildland firefighters. This is just the national lands. Like they did this to our nuclear arsenal. They did this to. They're doing this to all sorts of shit. But I'm going to explain to you this here in the exactly what the plan is here for our national parks, lands, and stuff. Okay. Just like trying to defund the post office, so they say, look, it doesn't work, we have to privatize it. The king, Trump, has declared himself the king, right? And Elon is the head Nazi, and anyone who wants to fucking say that that was just autism has got their head up their fucking ass, right? I mean, that was a Nazi salute. His grandparents are Nazis, and like you can keep your head up your ass all you fucking want, but T-Man, wow, you're a loser, T-Man. You can't afford national parks, defund them. You know, why don't you get a better job? Why don't you make yourself a better human being? Why don't you pull yourself up by your bootstraps so you can afford the national parks? How does that, like, how does defunding them, it's like, if you can't afford the parks, then you're not even paying enough taxes to give a fuck. If you can't afford the parks, your wages are so fucking low, and it has absolutely nothing to do with an immigrant except for the one who's taking all the money. You see, it's not the people working who can't speak the language, who can't come up with, who can't get a job. You were born here. Costs $50 to see a hole in the ground. Don't go, T. Straight up. Like how much do you spend on your fucking television to sit and look at a fucking screen? Hundreds of dollars. And the Grand Canyon is pretty cool. Did you go hiking in it? Did you commune with it? Did you spend time with the animals and the plants in the Grand Canyon? You went. Sounds like a pretty terrible experience for somebody with a terrible life. Like literally, if you're so miserable that you can't afford the $50 to go see one of the greatest holes in the ground on Earth, right? Now what causes the miserableness, right? I'm going to get back to how they're stealing. They're going to take them and privatize them and turn them into private hunting grounds. But why are you so miserable that literally $50? So today, $50 costs most people at $15 an hour, the standard wage, right? We're talking, and then after your taxes, to get that $50, you got to work 5 hours. That's almost a fucking day's work. 1964, 6 silver quarters was minimum wage. Okay, that's $1.50. But that $1.50 in silver quarters today is, see, I was looking last night. I wanted to go buy them. There's $24 per dollar. So it'd be $36. That should be minimum wage today. If the trickle down system wasn't in place, right? If we actually still had things like 70% progressive tax, where the billionaires who don't actually pay any fucking taxes, who make billions and billions and billions and billions on your taxes, who are taking money out of people who earn $30,000 a year. Like, great, you don't like it. There's a whole lot of other people who you don't have time because you're fucking working your fucking ass off for a pittance to supply billions to people like Elon. All right? So the entire concept of defunding right now, Utah, a red state, and this is how these idiots are shooting themselves in the fucking foot. Utah is a red state. This has happened in various other states where their entire economy is based on medical research at the state university, for instance. And Elon cut all the funding for the state university's research programs. So basically half of the fucking income for all the fucking people in the state is gone. Okay? So here in red state Utah, they voted for Trump, and they've now just shut down all 11 of our national parks. Yeah, there's no staff. There's no law enforcement. The gates are fucking closed. Now they're shut down. But so what does that do? This allows poaching, right? Murder, dumping of bodies, all sorts of other exploitation that can go on in our national parks and our commons, right? But the next thing that happens, that's just the first step. All of a sudden, like we defund them, we take out all the staff that operates them, and they no longer work. Trees are going to fall across roads and shit like that, right? And they're going to say, look, our national parks aren't working. Our national parks aren't working. Okay, here. Now, at the same fucking time, the GOP, the MAGA fascist government just passed a bill the funding package for the nation that allows another $4 trillion in debt ceiling cap raise. Okay, the whole thing where our government's been shutting down for the last several years every year because of the debt ceiling issue that they keep refused to fucking allow to go up under anyone else. They just kicked it up, like doubling our debt. At the same time, giving tax breaks to the billionaires, right? Claiming that our national parks and everything, all of our institutions don't work because they just defunded them. Now they're going to say, oh, look, they don't work. We need to privatize them. All right. So we literally have just lost all of our national, not just your national parks that you pay $50 to go see, but your national forest that you go hunting and fishing on is going to be gone. Going to be fucking gone. They're going to be privatized for the lords of the king only. Private fishing grounds, private hunting grounds. T, you're dreaming, bro. They ain't gonna let the riffraff. They'll let the Supreme Court RVs come in. They ain't gonna let your RV come in, bro. You're the riffraff. You're a surf. You're not even a surf, man. If you don't own capital, you don't have billions of dollars. You ain't a billionaire. I know billionaires. I literally know. I used to supply grass to a billionaire, and he would pay me $100 fucking tip on every $200 ounce that I handed him. All right. Because like I don't got time for this. That his pocket change, the $200 was a fucking inconvenience, and he's used to paying a hell of a lot more to people who exploited his billions of dollars. Right? That guy spent millions and millions and millions when Seattle was pushing for the $15 an hour minimum wage. He spent 20 million, something like that, on legal costs in the fucking courtroom to keep his real estate empire he owns, rentals in resort areas, hotels. He spent millions to keep paying his employees $12 an hour. Right? That's their end game is fucking slavery. Their end game is can't afford to live in. So you're either making really bad choices or you're the reason. Why do you believe you're poor? Why do you believe you can't afford? I know for me personally, my income was primarily derived from my physical labor capacities, right? I fucking had to quit my career as a natural resource manager because the guy who had the money to go to college longer to get his medical degree, multiples of these people who aren't truly, like, they just had the fucking money. They were born into it. They aren't actually qualified. They sat there and made passing grades apparently and got the fucking degree and the job somehow. But all of them missed the fact my neck was broken. Twice. I broke my neck fucking twice. And eventually the pain caught up to me. So I had to quit my career as a firefighter, right? And then everything else. I literally just spent, it happened November 10th. I had a fucking blowout, double hernia. 4th doctor appointment, CT scan. I finally got a fucking confirmation from a doctor saying, oh yeah, you've got a double hernia. Let's schedule a surgery. T-man, right? So you've got issues. All that shit, we live in the richest country in the world. We have PTSD, it caused insulin resistance and gave you spinal arthritis. You can't work hard labor anymore because you work at fast food. And you're getting paid shit being exploited by capitalism. You are a slave of capitalism, T-man. You work 40 hours a week and can't do. I'm in the same fucking boat, and I refuse to go fucking be a slave to their fucking to make these kings richer. Like you've literally been destroyed by the system, and I would love to show you the things I fucking show people about how to find gold at a fucking garage. Here, like this piece I'm wearing right now, it's silver and gold, and I bought it for $6 yesterday at the fucking thrift shop because I've taught myself how to identify this shit. Probably identify for benefits are gone, bro. I hear that same thing. Like everyone asks me the same thing. Why don't you apply for? Well, first off, I was denied benefits in a red state because I used cannabis and didn't lie about my use of cannabis. I thought I was talking to a doctor who wasn't supposed to fucking disclose information. But then the doctor said, "No, I work for the state, not you. You're not my patient. They're my client." And so here in a red state, before we had medical, I was denied physical disability because I used cannabis instead of opiates. That's how fucking we have people here in Utah who are denied life-saving healthcare lung transplant because they had fucking eaten a gummy. Right? They don't give a fuck about us or you. These and it's the fear and hatred of the other is the classic of the fascist authoritarianism to get you to believe you're poor because there's immigrants. And yeah, Musk, he's taking all the fucking money. But it ain't the poor people who are fucking working in the fields that they're deporting that's driving up our fucking cost of food now. It isn't the fucking, you ain't poor because Canada is our trading partner that they just put a 25% cost of fucking goods on. Okay? This is fucking insane. But our national lands is the one thing that I'd like to focus on. That shit is ours. That's ours. Even if you don't get the fucking, you can't afford to go see it, we can watch that shit on video on a fucking TV and have solace in our souls knowing it's there, right? Anwar, okay? None of us are ever gonna get to Anwar. I've been kind of close to Anwar, but just knowing that shit's there, knowing there's caribou running free, right? Running there's grizzly bears and wolves that are fucking tracking them down and eating them, okay? And insane flocks of fucking geese coming and landing and fucking just the life that fucking boils out the fucking spring in northern Alaska is fucking incredible, right? But we're all stuck here living in fear and hate porn with the fucking king. And here we are now, oh, let's go audit Fort Knox. That is the classic magician's fucking sleight of hand. Look at the shiny object, don't look at what I'm doing behind my back. All right? Like literally, let's go. Like approvals rated. Let's fucking throw a shiny object out there. Shiny object. That's what the Fort Knox bullshit's all about. All of that stuff is just straight fucking distraction. Steve James, 58, social scientist, been studying these things for 40 years. So far, you're spot on with everything you said. Thank you, Steve. It's unfortunately the static of materialism in our entire system of sex sells and fear sells even more, right? The consumerism, the entire process of that began with Reagan allowing foreign nationals to come in and buy both a citizenship and major media outlet to control the narratives. Like literally, there is no real information anymore. We're fucking living in 1984. Big Brother has got most of America by the balls. And most people don't even know what death to Big Brother means. And it's just fucking so Elon says that Putin can't afford me. So what I see is, the ill-witted will say, "Oh yeah, he's so rich, you can't afford him." When the fact of the matter is, you don't have to buy someone to work with them in congruence with them to both become richer yourselves through exploitation in the channels used. You see the German crying low. T-Man, I'm not sure what that means. I am very German. My name HARDY was HARTI until the Depression when they anglicized it because the Austrian, Belarusian, Ukrainian HARTI wasn't white enough. But yeah, literally, I am half German. And one thing I do know about white people is it's a mutation that occurred during the ice ages. And we're quite inferior and subject to skin cancer. Um, JD Vance called JD Vance called Donald Trump America's Hitler. Realized the fact of the matter and stepped in line and started duck stepping. I don't think you, T-Man, you're really like not hearing anything that's going on here. You're thinking JD Vance is a good person. Yeah, he's a fucking Nazi. He's a fucking Nazi, dude. I'm sorry. El Foul, can you say something nice about what the Trump administration is doing? Can't be all bad. It's nice for himself. It like can you El Feo, can you come up? That's the ugly in English, El Feo. Is that correct? Am I reading that properly? Um, the ugly one. And Anasazi is actually a derogatory term applied by the Navajo who came in and destroyed most of the Anasazi, displaced them, interestingly. Um, Man, I feel bad for you, T man. I really do. You've been brainwashed and gaslit to no fucking end, bro. I feel sorry for you. You just told me you're a Nazi too, literally. And fuck, not the only thing Nazis deserve is a fucking hole in the ground. Not sorry, bro. Like if you don't understand equality, freedom, and just is like, holy fuck. You like them take phones over memes. That doesn't even that's not even English. Like I don't think you understand what fascism is, but let's go right over here to the dictionary and we'll just go ahead and pull the dictionary out here. This dictionary here was written in 1971, the year I was born. Um, so we're gonna this is the Random House. Random House Dictionary. So I actually collect hardcover old dictionaries. There's a bunch of them over here in the bookshelf back over there. And I do it specifically because I wanted to study the word fascism and the etymology of it. So let's come right into EFE. Here's the fascist. Okay, so let's get clear on tightly bound rods, and it wasn't always attaching the axe. It could also be a bundle of faggots. So faggots is actually a bundle of twigs that's used for starting a fire, and is a derogatory term that came out of the Middle Ages when they burned LGBT people. Okay, so but the fascia, fasciate, fasciation, fascicle, farak, fascine. Sorry, this isn't it. I don't got my glasses on either. Um, fash. It's gonna be over here. Fastidious, fastening, fastener, no, fast. What the fuck is it? Sorry. Fascia, fixation, face. This isn't it. It's in a different page. I know it. Sorry. Fascinator, Fascism. Let me zoom for you all to read it along with. Where's my finger? There we go. I zoomed too far. Sometimes noun, sometimes capitalized. A governmental system led by a dictator. Donald Trump said he's going to be dictator on day one. He's now declared himself king, having complete power. Okay, so we have Elon going in and who's axing everything. They've usurped all power from both. They're saying judges should be put in jail for criticizing them, and absolutely nobody in Congress has stepped up and said, hey, we own the power of the purse. We write the laws, right? And so they're saying his presidential decrees are the law of the land. Trump has declared himself king and has said that only he can interpret the laws. All right. Forcibly suppressing opposition. They're literally fucking put Kash Patel in position to attack anybody on any grounds who says anything bad about Mr. Trump or Musk. Okay, it's already fucking going on. And criticism. Regimenting all industry. All right, so they're telling companies that if you don't step in line with our DEI, we're going to sue you criminally. This is the MAGA. The MAGA governors of states are now suing companies like Costco for not stepping in line. All right. Commerce, etc. Okay, and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism, changing names. The Nazis also changed names of places, like calling Greenland red, white, and blue land, or the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America. Awesome racism, yes. The brown and black people. Let's see. I think one of the Doge people was normalize Indian hate, right? Okay, so let's see. Emphasizing this and often racism. The philosophy, principles, or methods of fascism. Fascist movements, blah, 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 blah. Anyhow, deny it all you fucking want. There's the definition in the dictionary. This is the new American fascist movement, MAGA fascism. The red hat is the new brown shirt, and MAGA SS. The ICE is like straight up SS. There's no fucking, go read Anne Frank, T. Straight up. Go read Ukraine and opposition parties in Germany. They're in fucking war, being attacked by Putin, you dipshit. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Like this is like, we're so fucked. You're gonna be begging for fucking Trump cheese, bro, because like you're disabled, and they're gonna be fucking all the people who are actually abled, who are being fired from their perfectly good government jobs that aren't wasteful. They're gonna be coming for your job now, bro. You're gonna get displaced by people who went to college because they're firing people, and the intellectuals are gonna end up in the fucking fields and just like Pol Pot. What kind of drugs do you take? Not ketamine. Right now I'm taking coffee. What kind of drugs do you take, Vlad? I used to drink a bunch of booze, but my body doesn't take beer very well anymore. Yeah, Trump told Maine governor he is the law. Get a haircut. Fuck you, Alan. Fuck you. Grow some fucking hair, bitch. Get a haircut. Fuck off. That's telling people what to do. This is a fucking America. Why do you give a fuck what my hair looks like, bitch? Like, I'm serious. Fuck you. You get a haircut. Shave your entire fucking body if you want to. Don't tell me what to do. Right? Equality, freedom, equal rights. T-Man, you must live in a fucking really fucked up area if you have these kinds of attitudes of being a Nazi like that. So everyone around you must be in some sort of fucking vacuum chamber with a bunch of people who really just hate being um, alive and have succumbed to just being corporate slaves. I don't know what to tell you, man. Um, Steve, I get people telling me I look like all sorts of people. The fact of the matter is, those people look like me. there's, as a child, I was told that I'm one in a million. You're supporting Nazism. You are a Nazi. That's pretty fucking forward. In Germany, they tell us that if 11 people are sitting in a room and a Nazi walk-ins and no one punches them in the face, then there's 12 Nazis in the room. It's pretty simple, man. Like soft Nazi or like in Germany, when Hitler was in charge, there was a bunch of people who said they weren't Nazis, but they like went along with the program because they were afraid of what would happen, and so they went ahead and did the science, and they worked for the regime, and you know what the rest of the people called them? Fucking Nazis. T-Man, I think you're a crybaby on TV, no respect. Bro, seriously, like, you're projecting a whole bunch of stuff onto other people, right? Like, and if you notice, the only thing I'm saying about you are the things you're projecting onto other people. I'm not going to come out and just like, I just take things, turn them around, and show what's going on. Vlad, you are one. You are one what? No, dude, I'm not projecting anything on you. You are the one saying that you enjoy these Nazi speeches. How on earth am I projecting that onto you? I'm pointing out the fucking a different perspective of reality that I'm not twisted your words. You're sucking up the gaslight, and I'm pointing out a different perspective of reality. I don't think T-Man's trolling. I think T-Man honestly has a good soul and is confused in reality. No. Isn't punching, no, it's punching a Nazi is self-defense, bitch. How could be punching someone in the face be terrorism? Being a Nazi is terrorism. Oh, Vlad, show me how small your penis really is. Oh my God, what's up, Piper? Please try that one, Vlad. Let's see. So someone look up Vlad's report there and report him for terrorism. You mind, Piper, taking a second? Ideas are not terrorism. Here in America, we allow all idiots to promulgate and talk their stupid ideas, right? If you wanna talk about being hateful, I have one prejudice myself. I hate all bigots. It's pretty simple. You know, like how fucking small can you be to believe that other people caused your problems, and that by excluding the productivity of other people, your problems are going to go away? It's pretty classic. Action is terrorism. Yeah, I think. Let's look up the fucking definition of terrorism. It's interesting how they changed the definition of terrorism in the Patriot Act. And let's see, QRS T QRS TEL TM Temple Terret Terrestrial Globe Terrestrial Terrazzo Teepee Terra Verte Terribly Terrocious Terroir Terroir. Oh, here's a good one. Terroir. No, that's not even terroir. That's terrier. Pterodictical, terra, Teratotarianism. That's interesting. Territorial waters, no, terror, terrorism. Here we go. The use of terrorizing methods, the state of fear and submission, so produced a terroristic method of governing or resisting a government. All right. So I'd say that being a Nazi is terrorism in and of itself. Punching a Nazi in the face is self-defense. What do I think of Obama? Brilliant human being. Excellent statesman. Well-spoken. Good luck on appeal. Whatever, Vlad. You obviously have nothing better in life than to sit around and try and terrorize people. You're threatening me with nonsense. It's fucking hilarious, Vlad. Like, how small is your penis? You see? You are what we call a beta cuck, an incel. Good luck on your own life, dude. Or, like, pull your head out of your own fucking ass and get a life, right? I had neo-Nazis when I was 22. None of you fucks like you tried to kill me, dude. Literally, I was held down by a bunch of neo-Nazis. So it's literally self-defense and not terrorism, right? Reported for... Glad you're good. What's funny is, like, I know who you are, and anyhow, this is literally what Nazi fucks do, is he's here trying to terrorize me, saying that I'm a terrorist and make me feel fear for what? His own insecurities, right? Probably a Russian. Probably not even an American citizen. Probably just a fucking douchebag who it might even just be a bot, not even a real human being. But definitely a beta cuck if it is, and an incel living in his mother's basement. And you won't see any response because it's all true. Anyhow, back to protecting our national lands. We're kind of in a position right now where I mean, even conservatives are starting to go, wait, what the fuck? Like, all the Rangers just lost their jobs, and like the Rangers are how we. That's our rural community money flow, right? And what you cooks don't fucking get is that as all these people you believe you hate, you've been brainwashed into hating, the fear and hatred porn that makes you lose all rational capacity to thought and reason, such as this idiot Vlad here, who's saying that punch a Nazi in the face is terrorism when it's truly self-defense. I don't know anyone who would identify as a Nazi that isn't some sort of real piece of shit. Two Daughters Farm. What am I talking about? Freedom, free speech, equality, our national lands. Fuck Trump. Death to Elon. That's what I'm talking about. Literally, there's people dying right now around the world because Elon cut funding to USAID. Right? Let's just look at that one. Cut out all the funding to USAID. There are American farmers now, people who voted for Trump, who are losing. Oh, another troll. Go read something. You go read something, bitch. Vlad, you're a little. All right. Literally terrorist. You feel scared, Vlad? You're sitting here laughing. Local. So you know what's really neat is that I have this really cool power to just report there. There, Vlad. I just reported you as a terrorist. How's that? Pretty easy to do. Um, so as I was saying, by cutting all the USA aid, so it's literally 0.01% of the United States government budget to USA aid. And it basically, not only did that money, the money was actually spent primarily with contracts with American farmers, right? And so they would grow the food on contract. They were guaranteed an income and able to expand and have profits in other fields. And they've already purchased food, seed and fertilizers for quite a bit of this stuff, as well as possibly expanded lands, leased lands, and etc. And all of those contracts fundings have been stopped, gone, no longer exist. That money's never coming back. USA aid, because Elon didn't want to feed black people in Africa, but there's literally starving children in Africa dying right now. Okay, because they're not getting all the funding for transporting the food that's stockpiled is no longer in place, right? Like Vlad and two daughters really have fucking small lives if they're here just to be trolls. Literally, don't you have anything better to do in your fucking life than to sit here and try and upset me as I'm explaining what you don't understand? Comment every Sundays. I've never seen you. This is my own personal channel. This isn't a weed thing. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, I live my own dream. Wow. Typer, why? What do I don't understand you people. Like you literally fucking have. I'm living the dream, not in a dream. Like if you're here thinking that you're some sort of like you're gonna improve my life by bitching, or most funding that goes to Africa ends up in the pockets of warlords, jackass. So salty colonel, the funding that I'm talking about doesn't go to Africa. It goes to United States farmers. The food goes to Africa. I hopefully you'll see the truth. I don't like you. I don't know you. How can I like you or dislike you except for the fact that you sit here and you're not. All of you people are just spewing non-verified anything. Like you're telling me the Earth is flat, basically. Oh no, salty colonel. I'm not perpetually upset. I definitely used to live in a lot of pain. So if I am perpetually upset, why do you come around to commiserate? I'm not a fucking liberal. Oh boy, yeah, no. So you're just a bigot and here for your hate porn. Literally, why else would you come here except for hate porn? You get off on being an asshole. Yeah. I voted liberal in 4 elections, then you woke up. Huh. You voted freedom and then you decided to be a Nazi. Okay. Clearly a liberal. Yes, freedom. Liberal means freedom. Let's look here in the dictionary. Let's look in the dictionary here. Clearly a liberal. Let's see. Let's see. Freedom. I've never been a Democrat or a Republican. Freedom for sure. Equal rights and justice for all every fucking day. This is the truth. Yeah, I'm a liberal. Yeah, freedom does mean liberal. Liberal does mean liberal. Favorable to progress. Or favorable to progress or reform. As in religious or political affairs. Noting or pertaining to political party is the secondary. Often advocating measures of progressive political reform. Yes, sure, I'm a liberal. It's not a bad thing. You think it's an insult, you're an idiot. Pertaining to, based on, or advocating liberalism. Favorable to, or in accord with concepts of maximum individual freedom possible. Liberal. Let's reread that fucking again. Favorable to, or in accord with concepts of maximal individual freedom possible as especially guaranteed by law and secured by governmental protection of civil liberties. Yeah, I'm a fucking liberal. No, it means freedom, you dipshit. So you think it's a fucking insult. You don't know what it means, dude. Holy fuck. I know what it means. You don't. You think it's an insult. You think being free and liberal is a bad thing. Not fucking poop, dude. You know what's funny is these people here, I'm gonna, oh, Mira, it's a few hours later. Check out, I have a bunch of hate porn followers in here. Go watch this. Report. Let's see. What the fuck? James, I am actually a libertarian in reality, but I would never call myself a libertarian because it's generally just extreme. Most of them are far right folks who don't just like it. But I literally live as an outlaw libertarian and always have. My only party I ever registered for was Green Party, and literally it's Green Party and libertarianism. If you can combine the two, right? Do whatever the fuck you want as long as you're not polluting on me or my neighbor, right? Do whatever you want within the realms of truth. Don't lie to folks, right? Be honest. Everyone should be honest. Unfortunately, here in America, like everyone is fucking dishonest and believes everyone else is dishonest. Even the most honest of us, like. So I'm refining gold and silver, right? Anyone who follows me knows that I've refined silver and gold, and I've finally just started selling some gold. It is an extremely hard endeavor. Presenting a full ounce, 90% of the people who contact me call me a scammer and then proceed to offer me half of the value of gold for it and try to scam me out of in fear and desperation to try and sell my product. All right. Whereas once I put it down into a smaller unit, I'm selling these quarter grams. I've got a couple of people who have stepped up and made the purchase, $45 that they're getting out of that, right? But there's literally like so many rip-off fucking artists in the world that they're accusing me, the most honest human being who's ever fucking walked, of being a rip-off artist, even though I have, and it's the same thing when I show videos of UFOs. Someone asked me if I believe in aliens and UFOs. It's not a belief, it's an understanding and an experience. I've experienced UFOs and entities from other dimensions, as well as I've experienced spirits in a sweat lodge. I've experienced ghosts, right? So it's not beliefs in these things. I've have experiential understanding. Some of these things are things we can't understand completely, but I've experienced them, so it's not necessarily a belief. What the fuck? Emotionally weak? Salty kernel. I don't know if you understand what emotionally weak is. Everyone else is the problem. Who are you talking to? That's kind of weird because I deal with my own reality. I have shit that you can't even. I broke my neck. Yeah, twice. I did that. The doctors missed it, right? Um, Not sure what with everyone else the problem. Small. I'm a scammer, emotionally manipulate. I don't. If you feel emotionally manipulated by anything I have to say, perhaps you're projecting your own emotional weakness upon me. That's kind of clear. Well, now, Steve, reading back on what you were saying there, yes, the party versus the reality of being a libertarian are very, very different. Millions of grants in place currently that already has the money in place and give aid to new and existing farmers. Yeah, dude, a bunch that shit's all getting shut down. There's so much of that stuff's getting shut down. So much stuff that was in place, so much stuff that, as far as the grants go and contracts, farmers spending money, for instance, on a high tunnel, right? You got to buy that high tunnel up front, install it, grow things on it. It needs to be built on land that was previously agricultural land, and then after a year, they send you the money, right? So the people who spent that money a year ago and they're expecting to get paid for it this year, that shit got shut down. It ain't coming, right? That stuff's all been frozen. Some of it might get worked out, but there's literally people who are like choking right now, like, what the fuck happened to my funding, right? And it's crazy is you hear a whole bunch of people who say that like, oh no, there's gonna be all sorts of funding for farmers in this administration. When it's like, you mean like after the trade war means they can't sell their soybeans like last time, and he had to write out $50 billion in free money for farmers after they were committing suicide? Yeah, dude. If you're here, Salty Colonel, you're here for hate and fear porn. You're just here to be a jackass. I think you're the emotionally issued person here. It is like fuck around and find out. Yeah, but now that it's we have a king now. We no longer have a fucking democracy. Hopefully we can death to the king and get our fucking democracy back. But looks like the Nazis got bored and left finally. Anyhow, fuck. Yep. Two. We're finding out fast and hard. It's kind of fucked up. Kind of fucked up. It's pretty awesome though. Those apples showed up just to prove the fucking point. Anyone watching this and looking at the like, I can't see the fucking the chat when I go back through this stuff um, on my phone. But anyone watching this can read that shit and just it's fucking mind-boggling how small penis the world is getting. Or it only takes a couple of people. It takes it literally two. It only takes 2% to really fuck shit up. Fire the yeah no, they're just putting in a bunch of fucking yes men. Project 25 is in full force. We're marching towards a theocratic fascist state. It's the flallates. I know I make typos, but expand on that one, Mirror. What's that word supposed to be? I think there's a pun in there. I'm not catching. Yeah, it's sad. I'm gonna make some more coffee here. This isn't a normal show. I was thinking of just hopping on and doing a little chat for a couple minutes, and it ended up being oh yeah, yeah, definitely causing some small penises to pop up. It's pretty interesting, though. I found the F Musk hashtag and fuck Trump hashtags definitely bring him out of the woodwork. But I find that regardless of anything else, it proves the point. Oh, PFAS, bringing out the I don't. Man, there's definitely a lot of misinformation, a lot of information, and it's really hard to figure out what the fuck everything. But there is a ton of pollution, and that's one of my biggest motivators is no profits for pollution, right? Freedom, liberal, awesome. It blows my fucking mind that people think calling someone a liberal is an insult of some sort, like literally, and then reading it from the dictionary to prove exactly what it means is that it's like that's. I think liberalism means that we're free from being polluted on for other people's profits who hold us down, and then say that because we don't have money we can't afford to go to the hospital, right? And like that dude's trying to say punch a Nazi in the face is terrorism, but literally our government is doing terrorism on the people. There are staffers working for Trump who have said literally, we want everyone coming to work scared. Musk says this. We want everyone scared they're going to lose their job. And we want them performing harder. They want to exploit fear, which is not a good motivator. Fear is not a proper motivator. Those people don't fucking get it. Slaves didn't build pyramids, put it that way. People who were dedicated to worshiping their God King did. And they didn't do that through fear. They did it through desire of eternal life for their own soul, right? For instance, the 300 against the thousands, the slave army against the Spartans who love their homeland, right? Yeah, I don't know if you got any peace in you, Nazi. You don't fucking get it, man. You don't fucking get it, Vlad. You self-identify as a Nazi, you really, your mom failed you. I don't know how else to put that. My mom beat me, but she didn't fail me that bad. Like, I still know the golden rule. Like literally. And yeah, I'm not kidding. My mom beat the fuck out of me, but no, that's not what's wrong with me. What's wrong with me is the fact that there's something wrong with you and you don't fucking understand being good to other human beings. People who call themselves Christ but go around fucking making other people's lives miserable. The Nazis called themselves Christians too, by the way. And now we have the MAGA so-called Christians infighting as to who's allowed to be called a Christian. It's pretty fucking nuts, but this is one of the ones with... I was on Camp Pendleton in 1986, and I got into a conversation with 7 other people who identified as Christian, and there was a Jew and a Muslim in the group too. And the conversation turned to fisticuffs over which printed version of the Bible was the Word of God. And these guys literally started beating the fuck out of each other over my God, my printed word, my edition that was changed by this king. My God. My God is so powerful, he can create the entire world to the blink of an eye. My God is so powerful, he can smite you down. My God is so powerful. I've literally sat in the furnace. I went through, here, we can go. We'll go look at that after I make the coffee. I spent 9 minutes in 600 to 1200 degree superheated gaseous air in the heart of a wildfire exploding without a shelter. Once upon a time ago in a land far, far away, my God can beat your God up. My God is thermodynamics. That doesn't get any more real than the laws of thermodynamics. Eco-terrorism. Yeah, Vlad. Well, since you're here being a Nazi fuck, I'll get back to the fact that after discussing Bible verses for 2 hours with a bunch of neo-Nazis back in 1992, they jumped me, held me arms up behind my head, and took running kicks to my head. Okay, split my head open and nearly left me for dead, except for I'm a true berserker, son of Cucullin, and broke free and started throwing bodies off of cars in self-defense, stood my fucking ground, and they ran like little fucking girls that they are. And it's about pretty much with your level of, you would need 9 to try and take me. I've had as many as 12 people try and cut my hair once. Didn't go well for them. Let's see. Yeah, Nixon thought hippie terrorism was crazy, so he hid the fact that the science showed that marijuana kills cancer in order to use cannabis to put his political opponents in opposition into prison. Now we have, someone asked me earlier, and they probably left, what do I think of Obama? Obama ended for-private prison contracts with the federal government. Trump came back and reinstated all of those contracts immediately. Biden got rid of them. Trump brought them back again. Private prison contracts. It's literally making Americans slaves on nonviolent crimes. Right? So, anything, like they'll turn you into a slave for, well, there's all sorts of shit now. Down in Mississippi, they're saying if you don't have any, if they deem you to be, well, a homeless vet who lost his papers, for instance, and can't verify who he is, will be put in prison for life under the statutory. That's how fucking stupid they are. Because they hate people who identify as different so much, they put through legislation saying that you can only vote if your voter registration matches your birth certificate. So everyone, like J.D. Vance, changed his name. He can't vote anymore. Every woman who's been married and changed her name, took her husband's name, can no longer vote. That's how fucking stupid MAGA is. All right, so they hate Native Americans and birthright citizenship so much that the way they tried to illegally, unconstitutionally just change our constitution by dictatorship, as a fascist does, or someone who thinks they're a king would try to do. Literally, the wording of his, what he wanted to push through would make it to where only people who immigrated and naturalized could be citizens. So, whereas that would be Melania would be a citizen, but Donald not a citizen. Because they hate Native Americans so fucking much, they want to take away the citizenship of Native Americans who have dual citizenship with their sovereign tribe and the United States. All right, this is how fucking idiotic. They fired the fucking nuclear regulatory and security team. And then they fucking tried to hire them back after having severed all of their communications. It's just fucking mind-boggling that they're like they've cut out a minuscule fraction by firing essential government workers. It's going to trickle down collapse so many small rural economies that depend on those rangers' incomes. But all you get is people like Vlad coming in here who fucking refuse to even pull their head out of their own fucking ass to hear what it is that the hippie terrorist has to say. That's a new fucking. I think I'll take that up for a new fucking page. Hashtag hippie terrorist, and just fucking the hippie terrorist. That's a good one. What do I think about Jim Morrison's dad being a Navy admiral during the Gulf of Tonkin incident that got us involved? That's a. I didn't know that was exactly what happened there, but so there's so many. Yeah, America has been an empire. I don't deny that. I don't necessarily say it's a good thing, right? One of my biggest conscientious objections, like I was on Camp Pendleton at age 15. I was being recruited an early detection and recruitment program my grandfather set up. He is a World War II hero himself. You read about my grandfather and my great uncles in the Waddleton Allen Diary. All right, I was raised in a military family. We hung the fucking flag and folded it every single day. All right, at my home. There is there holy fuck. I'd rather keep the illegal Mexicans and the legal Indians and get rid of the maggots. Maggot is a contraction of MAGA red hat wearing idiot. Maggots. The bigots. I'd much rather have them illegal Mexicans than the bigots, the people who cross the border illegally. All right, we domestically have 30 to 50,000 murders a year, but you've been led to believe that a minuscule percentage that's going to happen doesn't matter. Like, yeah, that'd be nice if we didn't have any murder, right? But why does murder occur in the first place? Because we have no medical systems for mental health issues. Reagan cut out all. So if y'all don't know, some of you are young, you don't realize that we used to have, for instance, here in Utah, the Wasatch Cache National Forest used to be 7 different administrative national forests. They combined that down to 2, and now they just took out like a third of the staff. Okay, yeah, I know about the Bowl. The Yeah, I was recruited to be a recon ranger, and as a conscientious objector, I decided I don't think going around the world attacking or subverting brown nations, killing brown people in their free nation is a good idea. If there was a just war, I would join up in a heartbeat, but there hasn't been what I consider a just war fought by the United States since World War II. And even then, we were bankrolling the Nazis until Japan fucking attacked us, right? Um, there's so much fucking crazy out there for sure. But when it comes down to it, equal rights and freedom, I greatly struggle with the fact I created a coat drive for homeless folks. And I often wonder, am I feeding the squirrels or doing God's work? Like literally, right? There is, yeah. I drink the Kool-Aid. Nah, dude. Like, yeah, that's the thing, man. I'm such a free thinker. You can't even comprehend it. What's funny is you're still here because you're intrigued and you're hearing truth and reality. You're not spewing your fucking hatred, and you're starting to see a glimmer of fucking reality. There's a lot of people who've called me insane until I go fucking talk to the psychiatrist and try to get disability for being insane, because so many people have called me insane. I came to realize that they denied me because I'm not. It's all of you whose perceptions of reality are so fucking distorted by materialism that you think I am brainwashed when I don't own a television. I don't pay for cable. I can show you the actual order of operations that it's 7 square inches over a square mile, not 7 vertical inches over a linear mile in the curvature of the earth. I've actually done science that's changed the laws of the United States and the funding. Ah, dude, you are a materialist, Vlad. It's quite clear. You want more material for yourself, and therefore you have others that you hate because you think they're usurping your material for them and preventing you from having some sort of material accumulation. That is the basis of all the fear and hate porn promulgated upon us by politics. Is materialism. It is the separation from actual, if you consider yourself a Christian, following Christ. It is literally the thing. That's why Trump himself is the archetype of Antichrist figurehood. Not the Antichrist number of the B666. That's literally a use of, well, the weirdos think that you can do it with any language, but Old Hebrew letters and numbers were interchangeable. And so the abbreviation for Caesar was 666. Crazy how, yeah, he's now calling himself the king or the dictator. And back in ancient Rome, the dictator was someone who was put in place in time of emergencies to have complete authority, but then it was relinquished after whatever the period of time was that they were given to do that in, right? And then, but what happened? So then you get assassinated if you didn't relinquish. Gematria. There you go. Oh yeah. I just got a notification on coming from my Instagram. Somebody crying about a cross-dressing nuclear scientist, and it's like, y'all have seen Donald Trump doing drag with Giuliani, haven't you? If you don't believe me, look it up. There's video of Trump and Giuliani doing a drag skit, and Trump is molesting Giuliani dressed as a woman, showing out their true nature. But also the before that thought was the Nazis were destroyed by a gay man who cracked Enigma. All right, and also, but the Nazis also were extremely anti-LGBT and put them along in the concentration camps with the Romanis and the Jews. But here's the thing: a lot of people are like, "Oh, there's Jews and there's got Jews in the family." It's like, it's not. It doesn't have to be Jews. It's the other. Anyone who's the other, like so and so just brought up, would you rather have illegal aliens or illegal Mexicans? It's like, yeah, they're hardworking. They're hardworking people. I'd much rather have hardworking people that make really good food, don't mind some spice, and fucking here in Utah, ketchup's the fucking spicy salsa. Like, I don't know. Well, after a couple of years here in America, they see the lazy white guy, but they're not all on welfare. I don't know who you know. Do you actually know a Mexican? Do you actually know an illegal Mexican on welfare? If you say yes, you're lying, because you can't get welfare when you're illegal. All right. But definitely, I agree with you. The children and grandchildren of immigrants, it doesn't matter what color you are, get fucking lazy. right? You think Elon's children are gonna fucking do anything? But let's let's do a comparison here. Imagine an immigrant coming in and having 13 children with 4 different partners. And their entire income is derived from government tax subsidies. That's who Elon is. Right? That dude's everything from day fucking one when he was here illegally on his fucking student visa doing work and applying for fucking grants from our federal government fraudulently. Yeah, but see, you're extremely brainwashed by the concept of this at the same time they're working hard to get here, but they're too lazy to do any work once they get here. They're taking all the free stuff. It's just it's fake news, dude. That it's not it's what is it? Kobacher's cat. No, I got the wrong scientist. But the cat that's both alive and dead at the same time. You've got it's like saying Sleepy Joe is a mastermind criminal, and then you've got these mastermind illegal aliens who can't speak English who somehow manage to travel thousands of miles, but they're so lazy they only collect the dole, right? Dude, little X, you're not the president. You should leave. That little fucking Schmidt, that fucking kid white boogers on the Resolute desk. And Trump just sat there and like, literally, what was the other? He told him to shut the fuck up. He told, shut your fucking mouth. That's the other thing he told Trump, right? And then when the reporters were asking Elon, it's like, you gonna have any transparency? We just, like, there was no condoms going to Gaza. Like, we've caught you on a couple of, and X just comes out and says, no. And then Elon straight out tells you, like, oh, I'm not always going to be right. And like, if you see me being wrong, call me on it. And then when people call him on it, he shuts them off on X. That's like, but y'all think calling someone liberal is an insult. Yeah. Schrodinger's cat. Thank you, Mir. Schrodinger's illegal alien. They're taking all the jobs and collecting the welfare. What's crazy is no one gives a fuck about the fucking employers. Like, I've been saying this since the 80s. You want to get rid of illegal immigrants coming for jobs, put the fucking employers in jail who hire them. It's pretty simple. They're defrauding the worker who doesn't have a job. They're defrauding the United States government because they're not paying the full tax. And they're defrauding the worker because they pay them fucking less. Right? They're like, but have we ever seen anybody? I do believe there was some progressive laws put forth that suggested that. But the same thing with Trump pardoning people who physically assaulted cops and saying, like, oh, they were taking a fine-tooth comb to go through all that shit. It was like, it's already been done. We prosecuted them and they like pled guilty, right? That's part of the fucking plan. When they say, oh, how can we prosecute them? They don't have the time to go through with a fine-tooth comb and figure out who's lying to them about being an actual immigrant or having a green card. It's like, how fucking hard is it to look? Right? I got arrested in Mexico in 1987, and my license was taken by the federales and sold. And that year there was 200 people with my Social Security card working on different farms in Michigan. Right? 200 people with my Social Security number. How hard is it to fucking check that shit? I lived in California. Right? Right? No, I started getting all these W-2s and I had to get a hold of the IRS and tell them, hey, if I only had these 2 jobs. And I guess I could have had that all credited to my retirement. I don't have any Social Security. I don't have any. I've never expected any of that. The way they talked about it in the '80s and shit, I didn't believe it would exist at this point, and that's the way they keep talking about it. But I think so. Aside from someone like Elon getting in there and trying to transfer it to a sovereign wealth fund and putting it into his fake Dogecoin, it's there still, right? The same thing with the gold, the shiny baubles. They're going to say, "Oh, hey, let's turn this into a sovereign wealth fund, and we're going to send you Dogecoin. I'm going to take the gold." Right? It's literally they're robbing us blind, and that's pretty much what's coming up here. I think they're gonna do the same fucking shit with our national oil reserves. It's fucking mind-boggling. When actually what we should do is deport Elon and nationalize his holdings that he's usurped from the taxpayers, and turn that into a sovereign wealth fund. SpaceX should be a sovereign wealth fund. I mean, it's literally that entire fucking thing is there's it's paid for by tax dollars, straight up. All of that shit, the entire fucking Skynet, all that shit is funded by subsidies, right? And all of it would have happened with or without him being there. And we should deport the motherfucker, put him in a fucking prison, and nationalize all his assets. That would make America great, real quick. Distribute the funds that he's usurped from our taxes to the people. He's always talking about there being a higher basic wealth or higher basic payment, but it's crazy how he talks about that as a concept, but there's absolutely zero MUSK research centers. There's no MUSK library. There's absolutely no philanthropy whatsoever from this thing that we're supposed to call a human being that exists in a meat suit with a skeleton but has no semblance of frontal lobe cortex development. Blah, 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 blah. Starlink, yeah. So I got 17 folks. Why doesn't everyone say hi? Give me a hello. Let me know who's out there before we shut down. It's random. Sometimes I think my mom and dad are watching and never say anything. Ah, ba 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 da ba da 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 da. Da da ba da da ba da da da. Some perceptions of reality. Here's a good one. We'll go ahead and Vlad's hanging out because he loves me so much. He knows I'm right. Conservative, and I don't mean alt-right conservative. I mean actual conservative people I ever knew was one of the gods of firefighting who trained me, took me under his wing, and taught me things, knowing that I was not your average everyday grunt firefighter, but was um, going to be doing big things. And had I not broken my neck the second time, I'd be running some big shows in the fire world these days. But he was always calling me hippie too. And I took it as an insult back then because the fact of the matter at the time, besides being a firefighter, I owned a couple of businesses. And Vlad, I'm going to explain something to you here. One day I finally called him on it. It's like, hey man, can you stop? And he got emotionally upset that I took offense at being called hippie. And like I said, I worked hard. I was a triathlete. I exercised. I swam a mile every fucking morning. I rode my bike 50 to 250 miles a day. I just didn't cut my hair for a very, very good reason. And it had to do with having grown up in Los Angeles and watching and moving through gang warfare zones. And I had to be careful with what color shirt I wore because if I had a plaid shirt on going through different neighborhoods, I would have got shot just because the color, the prejudices of the gangs who were so steeped in fear and hatred in their existence, right? And it was all derived out of cocaine sales coming in to provide for our CIA funding the illegal governments in other countries and arms for foreign wars, right? Um, and I'd see cops beating people up on the streets of Skid Row, and then I saw people beating up cops on the streets of Skid Row, and I dealt with all these experiences with these super rich people who are complete assholes because they had enough money to be assholes and nothing made them better about it. They were swell to each other, right? And then I got off to college and I realized I was seeing the exact same fucking shit happening with a fountain pen instead of fists and a knife. And I did a 10-day fast and petition to the higher power. You might want to call him God, whatever you want. You might want to call it prayer. But I did a 10-day fast and meditation on the disparities and the outright fucking racism and suppression of people who are different. And after 10 days, I was given a revelation from whatever the higher power is that you understand it as, the Akashic record, I could say. Back then, I would have said Jesus or God or the Holy Spirit spoke to me. I was told to grow my hair out long and wear it in solidarity with all other people who are different. And then I would be given full understanding by doing so. And it took another 20 fucking years. And I'm going to get back here to this fear thing. It took another 20 years for me to fully understand it. And after that point, I've been denied housing for my hair. I've been denied jobs for my hair. I've been heckled. I've been held down and my head kicked open for my hair. Right? Now this dinosaur of a firefighter, this man who I considered to be one of my best mentors ever, he got emotional and explained to me. He called me hippie out of pure respect for the greatest firefighter he had ever known. Okay? Who also wore his hair long and died in service to our country. Okay, during one of the extreme fire events before we had the full understanding and science and knowledge, the stuff that I worked at to further and improve. All right, so you think you're insulting me when you call me a hippie? No, freedom and liberalism makes you a hippie, dipshit. You think it's an insult when it's a compliment. Because that's how small, and here you are still, because you came here to hate on me, but you're feeling love and understanding. Do unto others as you would have them do for you is the only law in the universe for your soul to fucking progress to the next level. Doesn't matter what your religious standpoint is. If you can't comprehend the golden rule, you're lost. Right? So yeah, I was once again, I had started a farm, was working my fucking ass off on my farm when I started to get terrorized by some drunken asshole alt-right conservative screaming at me over the fucking fence that borders the fucking farm. And I'm out there literally pushing my fucking plow by hand, creating self-determination because I didn't have access to capital and I refused to commit a mortal sin of usury by subjecting myself as a slave to somebody else's profits by taking loans to increase my ability to exploit others. This motherfucker was yelling at me about my fucking hair, calling me a woman and shit, and being a pathetically small little human being as I'm working my ass off to produce good goods for the entire earth, right? And all I could do was be like, ah, come on over here and lick my nipples, bitch, right? Eventually, the family came over and apologized, and they started buying vegetables from me. But that literally, the sequence of events over the next week, I went to work for another farmer, was helping them out, and I was stung by a fucking bee, and realized like, and so I'm deathly allergic to bee stings, and almost died helping someone else out, $10 an hour. And I decided, all right, it was the first time I cut my hair in 22 years. I'm gonna go get a job, and I went to go get it. I applied for a job interview at a car dealership. Said I'm gonna go get a haircut. I'll be right back. Went to go get a haircut. I'm sitting in the fucking other side of the freeway from the car dealership to where I'm getting my haircut, and I'm sitting there at the underpass, and there's a busload of kids screaming out the fucking window, heckling me for having long hair. And I was given the revelation right then and there about fear and hate versus love. And all these people fear what they don't understand, and they have no fucking love in their hearts, right? So that's the one time I've cut my hair since 1999, when I stopped playing football and would shave it every year for fit the football helmet. So, lad, there's the seed to grow the rest of your life as a better human being. I'd say I pray for you, but that's not what I do. Peace out, y'all. Go out into the world, make it a better place with the meat suit you was given to do it in. I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. I got some gold refining to do. See y'all. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to do more of these on my own channel too.